Here we go. Episode 90 of the Hardline Sports Talk. I'm Michael Merlo. I've got John Michael Masiri with me. JM, the first episode in a little while. How we doing?
Doing good, man. It was a nice little break. Got to go to Punta Cana from my senior year spring break. So that was a great time. The sun down there, man, pretty strong. Wore
Yeah, little burn,
sunscreen.
little
Didn't
burnt.
matter. Yeah, it didn't matter. It'll burn right through your sunscreen.
Wow.
But doing good. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff going on. The NFL is going crazy. The NBA's got a lot of stuff going on. So, and we're gearing up for baseball season. So I'm ready to rock here.
Yeah, we're not even doing baseball tonight, and we've got
No.
a lot to discuss. And the NFL is at fault for that. Let's get right into it because both of our teams are at the forefront of our discussions in this episode. We are going to start with the Giants, though, because the Giants locked in their quarterback, so they say, for the next 4 years, Daniel Jones, 4 years, $160 million contract, $40 million a year, $82 million guaranteed. NFL contracts are confusing. This one is absolutely confusing, especially when you read the structures and everything involved in it. But either way, any way you look at it, the Giants are committing to this guy for the next 4 seasons.
Yeah. Real quick, it's off topic, but it's $82 million guaranteed this contract, right?
Yeah.
It is insane to think that the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson, who literally did not play football for like 2 years, a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. Like, I don't think we realized how bad that contract, even if Deshaun Watson turns out, like, if it works out, great, but that's insane.
Yeah. We'll talk about Deshaun a little bit when we get to Lamar, but yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, my whole take on this thing is I don't think the Giants had to do it this way. Now the contract itself, like you said, it's confusing and there's incentives and there's, you could void things. And the NFL, they find like the New Orleans Saints every offseason, they're like $80 million over the cap and they somehow work it out where they have cap space. So I'm sure things are not, it's not like baseball where you just see, 4 years, 160 million, boom, that's the value. So I get it. That being said, I do think that the Giants should be doing exactly what the Baltimore Ravens are doing right now with Lamar Jackson, where I think that they could have focused more on extending Saquon or even moving on. I mean, we've talked about that with running backs, and Saquon's getting up there in age a little bit, and you could see he's still a great running back, but he's lost a little bit of that explosiveness. I would have put the non-exclusive franchise tag on him if I was at the Giants. You get the value of $32 million, which is less what they're going to be paying him next year. And it allows him to go out and negotiate with other teams, set his own value kind of a thing, which is what the Ravens are doing. They're saying, okay, you think you're worth this? Go ask other teams what you're worth then. I think they should have done that with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones comes back, says, hey, the Carolina Panthers or whoever else offered me 4 years, 120, something like that. And the Giants say, okay, we'll match that. That's what I think they should have done. But, I mean, hey, you locked up your quarterback. So at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world. But to me, I just think $40 million for Daniel Jones is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I like this idea of the non-exclusive franchise tag a lot. It's not often that teams use it, though. It's almost kind of like I don't want to say disrespect, but it's not showing all the love toward a player that, you're trying to keep.
Right.
But I agree, they could have definitely gone in that direction. The only problem is that if he does come back and play on that tag, the Giants are on the books for $32 million no matter what. The Giants are not on the books for $40 million this year with Daniel Jones. They're on the books for $19 million with Jones this year. Gives them more flexibility to go and improve the roster and build the offense around him. So that was the main reason why they wanted to get this done. That's the main reason why they wanted to extend him, is just to be able to move the money around and to go out and improve this team. You brought up Saquon. They gave him the non-exclusive franchise tag. Now, obviously, nobody is going to even, indulge in that, even, get involved with Saquon Barkley had 2 first-round picks. I mean, oh my God, I can't even imagine a team doing that.
Yeah.
But so it looks like Saquon will be back on that tag unless the Giants are able to extend him. But it's all about freeing up the money to go and improve this roster. And, I keep saying this, $40 million Daniel Jones, that's fine. We can argue Daniel Jones if you want. I have some things here we can, but I just think that when you're signing a quarterback and he's coming off of, a good, solid year, right? This is what mid-level quarterbacks get. That's the market. Dak and, even this contract with Derek Carr and even Derek Carr's contract with the Raiders. That is, kind of setting the market for, you're not elite, but you're kind of right below there. And even there are some quarterbacks that are not in that class that are in the elite class that are getting elite money, Kyler Murray. But, that's the market, and quarterbacks get paid a ton of money, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's what we do. We could use the other quarterbacks' contracts as a template. And when you look at what Geno just got, and you look at what Derek Carr just got, Daniel Jones is getting the highest average annual value out of those 3 guys. And if you ask me, he's the worst quarterback of those 3 guys. So, like I said, I understand with the whole guaranteed money and things get, thrown around there, and it gets a little tricky. And in the NFL, it seems like these contracts are fake. They're like,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, whatever that number is, it's just for the agents to say they got it.
I also have a stance with the Giants team where the Eagles aren't going anywhere next year. They're going to be atop the division again. And I know they have a lot of pending free agents, but they're not losing anybody that you're going to be like, holy crap, how the hell are they going to replace that guy? I'm sure they'll re-sign a few of them, and they'll do their due diligence this offseason. The Cowboys are not really losing any major players. They're not really going anywhere. So
the Cowboys are going to add, actually.
Yeah. So my take on the Giants is they had a great season, not taking anything away. I think Brian Daboll deserved the coach of the year. I think that was an awesome hire. You have your head coach. Joe Shane, we'll see. He's got a little bit more to prove. I think he did a great job year 1. I don't see this team, like, if they just kept their current roster right now, I'd say they lost nobody and they didn't add anybody. I see this team regressing next year just because I think that they overachieved last year. And when you look at the roster, you would kind of agree with that. I mean, there's nothing really that stands out to you as elite position groups on this team, but there are some position groups that stand out as some of the weakest in the NFL. So they have a lot to improve. I would have, like I said, I think that was the one thing that Joe Shane did that was a mistake, was they didn't give Daniel Jones that 5th-year option. They decided to risk it. And they still could have made up for it by franchise tagging him, like I'm saying, and say, okay, prove it again. Prove it this year. We'll get you a receiver. Prove what you could really do. And then at the end of the season, be like, okay, if he really did prove it, here's your long-term extension. But I just didn't see this as the time where they had to extend him.
But that argument, like, if they would have franchise tagged him, $40 million in the book, the Giants would have had no money to spend. So it's unfair to Daniel Jones because now they can't really improve the team only, through the draft. That's the only way they would have been able to improve this team, because I think now the number is at like 30-something million, or it might be lower than that. They haven't done any cuts or restructures yet. But if you tagged them, you would have been paying them a lot more this season on the cap than you would have been if you did tag them. So that's kind of where I have the issue. Listen, I remember arguing this, not with you. I didn't think they should have picked up his 5th-year option. I was totally for that. It was almost like proved to us this year that you would, even be worth a look for a contract extension with us. And he did that. He went out and had, a year that obviously made the Giants and others say, well, you deserve to be a starting quarterback in this league. We were talking about this guy not being a starting quarterback even into last season.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I understand that. My point is what I was saying too was, I understand that if you franchise tag them, that you wouldn't be able to improve the team as much because, there's less salary cap space. But my point was, I don't think you even if you can, I don't really see you guys as a serious threat to win the NFC East next year. I still think the Eagles and the Cowboys are going to be better than you. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and try to improve your team. Of course, you should do that. But with Daniel Jones, I mean, he had a good year last year. They ran a very cushy offense,
Right.
sort of like a Drew Brees at the end of his career-esque offense, high completion percentage, running a lot of open routes, you go and, just get the ball out of your hands. And Daniel Jones, he wasn't a statue. He made plays on the ground with his feet. But I'm interested to see. Let's say the Giants go out and they trade for DeAndre Hopkins, or they, go and get another receiver, a veteran receiver on the free agent market or through a trade. I'm interested to see how this offense will change in terms of scheme. And I'm also interested to see, with that change, how Daniel Jones will play. I mean, we talked about the big time throws and the intended air yards and all that stuff where he ranks very low in the league. And like I said, there's a lot of safe passes last year. I'm interested to see how he would play airing it out a little more next year.
Yeah, this is my argument to that. They kind of opened it up a little bit more for him. It was the second game against the Commanders where they had to win, to really set themselves up to make the playoffs. They kind of, you saw it in his play. You saw with the play calling. They kind of said, all right, Daniel, we're going to take the training wheels off here, and he performed. The stat sheets did not show it in that Washington game, but he performed really well in that game. He made a bunch of really good throws, did not turn the ball over, was really good in that game. And then he had a really great game against the Vikings. And then there was the game, and then he played incredibly well against Indianapolis, sat week 18, had the best game of his career against the Vikings in the playoffs. They opened it up a little bit for him. He was a little bit more aggressive, and he performed well. I agree with you. The offense, especially during the middle of the year, they had a ton of injuries at wide receiver, injuries at tight end. They had nobody to throw the ball to, and they had to play safe. And at this time, the Giants held a playoff spot. And Daniel Jones' whole career, and why he was told that he was not going to be a franchise quarterback, was because he was turning the ball over. So I understand why he was playing safe. Brian Daboll and the offensive coaches are probably telling him, you have to play it safe. We can't turn the ball over. We cannot afford turnovers, because the points they got and the possessions they got were so damn important throughout the season. So, yeah, he was definitely playing safe.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why people and analysts don't say, well, look at what he was dealing with. And what if they do improve this team? What if they go out and add a couple of interior offensive linemen? What if they go out and upgrade his weapons on the outside? Why can't Daniel Jones? Why is Daniel Jones the only quarterback in the league that is incapable of taking the next step? Why do we not believe this? Why do we think this isn't possible? If he has some talent around him, any talent around him, why can't he take those next steps? It boggles my mind.
I mean, you've seen, just like you were saying, he's had the turnover problems early in his career. All of a sudden, new coach comes in, plays a very safe style of offense. They get a wild card spot. They win a playoff game. He does a good job protecting the ball because of, like we said, that's just the way the offense was designed for him. And that's all great. But my counterpoint to what you're saying is, people are basically saying, how can you give a guy $40 million that hasn't proved, or $160 million that hasn't proved that he can take that next step? And it's a risk. I understand, it's not like the Giants are I'm sure they believe he can, but they don't for sure know that he can take that next step. That's what's going to separate. And that's what separates these mid-level quarterbacks to these very good quarterbacks in this league is, okay, now can you take that next step and elevate this team and turn this into a high octane offense? Only time will tell.
I think that he doesn't get enough credit for what he was able to do with the lack of talent he had last season.
He did a good job. He did a
good job. They went to the playoffs.
He wasn't out, but let's not act like he was out here pulling like a Justin Herbert and like running for his life, making these crazy throws and just carrying the team on his back like a Josh Allen who accounts for 80% of his offense. He's not like that.
He went to the playoffs in the toughest division in football. He was the entire
He
offense.
also played. Yeah, sure. He's in the toughest division in football, which that's arguable. And the rest of the conference was pretty bad. He got a wild card spot. It's a bad conference, though.
No, yeah, agreed. The NFC is terrible.
Yeah.
But like, I don't get it. Like, he had nothing around him. And he performed well. Like, he could have easily had a dud season last year, and he's done. He's not a starter anymore. He's signed as a backup or a guy that competes for a starting job. He went out there and was productive, showed a lot of production.
But do you hear these words you're using? Like, yeah, he did a good job. He was productive. We're talking about $40 million a year right now. Geno Smith went out there last year with, a season 10 for him, or however long he's been in the league.
Yeah, and had two really good wide receivers.
Oh, come on. He threw 30
a good
touchdowns.
Offensive line, a good running game.
He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in football. He was airing it out. He wasn't running that title.
He had talent around him
right now.
Okay, he had great talent around him, and that's not a shot against him. He has really good talent around him, and he performed well, of course.
Can we not act like Daniel Jones has literally nothing, though? Like,
JM,
he has Saquon. He has one of the best left tackles in football. He has one of the best left tackles in football. That's a big thing.
Okay, yeah, he has that. Who is he throwing the football to?
Wandale
Robinson for half the season until he gets hurt.
Yeah,
Isaiah Hodgins, they pick off the scrap heap.
The receivers were subpar, 100%.
Subpar is not the word. It was terrible. It was god-awful to watch. And the big-time throws thing and not being aggressive. He can't be aggressive when guys aren't open down the field.
Let me ask you this question. If the Giants risk it, right, where they're like, okay, you know what? We're not going to sign him to an extension. And maybe they don't even sign him at all. They don't even franchise tag him. Maybe they say, let's let him hit the market and let's see what happens. You really think that if Daniel Jones signed with the Carolina Panthers or whoever else, the Giants would have be stuck now and they'll be like, we're screwed. What do we do from now? You really think that he's that much above what replacement they could have possibly gotten?
JM, that team would have won 4 or 5 games without him last year. That's a 4 or 5 win team.
Okay, but who are we replacing him with, though?
If it's Tyrod Taylor, I mean...
Yeah, okay, Tyrod Taylor, sure. He's pretty bad now.
Who's starting at quarterback?
I'm trying to think of a good comp of who. Okay, if Gardner Minshew was the Giants quarterback last year, I think they win 8 games.
JM.
I really do. I think they win 8 games.
Can Gardner Minshew run for 700 yards and 7 touchdowns? Because his legs were a part of it too. People forget that. Daniel Jones apparently is the only quarterback that has really good stats running the football, but we just throw that out when we talk about him. He ran the football too. He was a main part.
He makes plays all the time.
He was a main part of that running game.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Saquon,
he does nice things. I'm not saying he's trash. We're talking about $160 million.
Saquon Barkley fell asleep in the middle of the season last year, by the way. People forget that. People don't realize that. Oh, the stats look great. Fell asleep in the middle of the year.
All right, we're going
to nothing. I know. We can
argue in circles about this, but
I know. We don't agree, but it's fine. Okay, let's talk about another quarterback in the league that the Ravens did exactly what you wanted the Giants to do with Daniel Jones, and that was give him a non-exclusive franchise tag. So basically, we all know what this means by now. He can negotiate with other teams. If another team wants him, they can give 2 first-round picks and sign them to the deal. The Ravens can match the deal if they want to. I see this thing where, there's collusion around people wanting to sign Lamar, and RG3 is, a big time. He's really pushing that.
Yeah. It's
not about Lamar. You brought it up before. These owners were so pissed at the Browns owner for giving Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
They're colluding against the fully guaranteed contract, not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
They'd love to have Lamar Jackson on their team, not on a fully guaranteed contract for $230 million for a guy that, let's face it, cannot stay healthy, does not finish seasons here last couple of years.
The thing I don't get about these claims that, all the analysts want to make is you don't know what's going on behind these closed doors. You have no idea what is going on in these discussions. It's like you owning a business and you having an argument with your employees and someone that works at another company that has nothing to do with yours here's one thing and they're like, oh, this is how they're operating. You don't have no idea. You have no clue. So I think that you're 100% correct. I'm sure Lamar Jackson is comparing to the Deshaun Watson contract, and he's asking for a lot of money. And the Ravens have publicly said that they want Lamar Jackson. They want him to be their quarterback for a long, long time. They've had nothing but positive things to say about him. And it's pretty clear to me that what they did in this contract negotiation was they were so far apart that the Ravens said, okay, go see what you could get. And NFL teams, it's not a collusion thing. NFL teams know that all they're doing by negotiating with Lamar Jackson is writing the check that the Ravens are going to give them. So these teams talk, GMs talk. I'm sure there's a feel around the league that Lamar wants to be a Raven, that the Ravens want Lamar to be a Raven. And like I said, they probably just don't want to do the work. I saw a tweet. Somebody tweeted today, worded it perfectly. NFL teams are basically viewing it as doing the work for the Ravens by negotiating with him a long-term extension, because then the Ravens can match that deal and Lamar could just go back to the Ravens. So Lamar doesn't have an agent. That to me is the craziest thing about this all.
Red flag.
How do you not, as a professional football player, I totally understand if you want to represent yourself, but these guys literally get paid to do exactly what you're trying to do right now, to negotiate these mega deals with these teams. He doesn't have an agent. So I don't think it's a matter of teams don't want him. You're stupid if you don't want Lamar Jackson. I mean, he would be the best quarterback on 24 NFL teams, something like that. So
probably comes to the NFC as the best quarterback in the NFC.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, but close.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't think it's a matter of there's just like, oh, we don't want to give Lamar Jackson a big deal. We don't think he's good, or we don't think he's worth the contract. It's just what I said. I think there's a feel around the league that they know he wants to be a Raven. They know the Ravens want him to be a Raven, and they just don't want to do the work for the Ravens, and they're just going to kind of let things sort it out. These are also initial reports. I'm sure in the next week or so, something will come out with the Panthers are interested or somebody's interested, because as time goes on, it'll become more of a possibility. But that's all I think this says right now.
Yeah, and I do this a lot. I look at really smart organizations, really well-run organizations, and if there's an argument or if there's something going on, I usually side with them, right? If there's a side to pick, I'll side with the organization that is known to be smart, known to do the right thing. And the Ravens are a very good organization. They got a great head coach. They have good ownership, good front office. They know what they're doing. I trust that his contract offers to them, like what he wants, are outrageous.
Merlo, and he could 100% be saying to them right now, Deshaun Watson got 5 years, $230 million fully guaranteed. I want 6 years, 300. He could literally be saying something like, we have no idea.
He wants a fully guaranteed contract. That is something we know. Yeah. He wants a fully guaranteed contract. So these teams are not going to negotiate with him. That's a great point you just brought up. Teams don't want to do the work for the Ravens. The Ravens probably don't want to lose him at all. They probably won't lose him at this point. But this is a smart move by the Ravens to say, go see what you can get.
So
they don't want to they don't want to bid against themselves.
Right.
And that's kind of what the Giants were doing in a sense.
That's
bidding against themselves.
Right.
The Ravens don't want to do that.
That's my whole point with this is we have no idea what's going on. Is how could you sit here and make these claims about the Ravens or about other teams in the NFL? And I agree where it's like, it is a little weird that all these teams are out on him. But when you think about it from like a rational standpoint, you're thinking about what I'm saying, where they just are going to be writing the offer sheet that the Ravens are going to give them, then it makes a little more sense. We have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. There's no reason to go at the Ravens and say they're treating him unjustly and that these other teams are treating him unjustly. And we also have no idea what Lamar Jackson is saying. We're assuming that he's asking for a lot of money, but we have no idea what's going on. So you just got to look at the facts for what they are right now. Any other stupid innuendos and these like underlining things that are possibly going into them. They're just shots in the dark, and they really come out of no substance.
Yeah, but you're right. Like the fact that this comes out and the Falcons don't want them, and the Panthers are out, and the Raiders are out. Like it's weird. It's definitely weird.
It is weird.
But either way, it's the Browns' fault, and it's the Cardinals' fault, and it's the Broncos' fault, sort of what's happening here with these quarterbacks. They gave out ridiculous contracts, specifically the Browns, and it's hurting these teams. Hey, the Browns are hurting their division rival,
Yeah.
So this is it's going to be very interesting to watch and see who actually go. I mean, who's going to go after him? I thought the Panthers were like a lock. I thought Panthers aggressive owner. They went after Deshaun.
Well,
they got the new coach. They have the money.
We'll see what happens with the Jets and Rodgers. The Jets. It's very clear that the Jets are desperate for a quarterback, and if this whole Rodgers thing falls through, they might come knocking. We'll see.
The Panthers make sense for Rodgers a little bit. Like if there was going to be another team outside of the Jets,
I think the one that makes the most sense outside the Jets for Rodgers would be, for his sake, it would be Miami. They were the one that when I heard the rumors that were scaring me a little bit. But I like Tua. I think if Tua's medicals are okay, I would roll with Tua if I'm the Dolphins. And then the other team, the Raiders. The Raiders is an obvious one, just Vegas, and you got Devontae Adams over there. But I genuinely believe that the Jets are his best chance to win.
Yes, I
Not
would
the
agree.
Colts.
I would agree with that. Not the Colts.
Panthers, no. None of those teams.
The only team
Miami's the only one.
Well, Miami and I think possibly the Panthers. I'd have to go through their roster one more time.
I don't see what the Panthers. The defense is good. It's not as good as the Jets.
No,
but the Jets had a top 5 defense last year. And, everything else, it doesn't, the weapons, they had no more Christian McCaffrey. DJ Moore is really the only desirable weapon out there now. So the Jets got them in weapons with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Maybe the O-line? I don't even know,
Their O-line's good. They got a good run game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And let's kind of move in there with your Jets.
Yeah.
The whole brass flew out to California, flew out to Cali, and met with your boy Aaron Rodgers.
Nauseating.
They flew on Woody Johnson's private. What?
Nauseating. This whole process is nauseating.
Yeah, I think now. You know why? I think because it's if they don't get them, it's kind of like they screwed up or something. Possibly.
It's literally that's I agree. I mean,
it's them Rodgers, or nothing.
We know Rodgers is a tough nut to crack, and he's sitting in a dark cave and he's doing all these things. And he's pondering retiring and whatnot. But I think that if Aaron Rodgers comes to the New York Jets, I think it is the best assessment of the state of the New York Jets and their front office that you can get. I think that if they convince him to come here and they get the trade done and he's our quarterback, I think that just speaks to what their stance is around the league in terms of how they're respected and how their organization is running right now. I personally think that I would feel obviously I'd feel good about my team that I have one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but also about how the team is being run. I would feel confident in the people, the higher ups.
Yeah, your boy Woody. The private plane out there. Woody Johnson.
He's a passionate guy and he cares about the Jets. I respect that he cares about the Jets. He wants to improve the team. He's just gotta, sometimes just
stay out of it.
Just
completely stay out of it.
That whole plane ride, I was like, I hope Joe Douglas, Hackett, and Saleh are like, listen, you could greet them, but we'll handle all the
football talk,
the meat and potatoes. Don't worry about it.
The nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Rodgers, and here's the thing about the Jets, and it's really not the Jets' fault. It's just the fact that they play in the AFC. You would think you've built up such a great roster, such a great team.
Yep.
And that, you're going to bring in one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and you're going to have a really good chance to win the Super Bowl. and you're gonna have a good chance, but like the AFC is so damn difficult.
It is.
I mean, they have the fourth best odds right now to win the AFC.
The Jets
And
do?
yeah, and that's probably they cover themselves. The books cover themselves. They
So
have the
that's what,
seventh.
contingent on Rodgers being a Jet, I'm guessing. Obviously,
They
that's not
have the
with Mike White.
seventh best odds to win the Super Bowl right now. Only the Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys are ahead of them.
Wow.
It's a new world, possibly, that we're living in.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna act if it happens, but this is literally the most important 2 weeks in Jets franchise history. It is. I'm sorry. Like it's literally the most important 2 weeks.
Just signing him.
For sure, offseason history by far.
It's going to be the biggest Jet offseason in franchise history.
Yeah.
You had the guys win the Rookies of the Year. You have the Hall of Fame game, Klecko getting in.
Now, these reports, it's almost like there's no reason looking at Twitter, because things come out and they'll say the Packers are going to ask for a king's ransom for Aaron Rodgers. Then you got, I forgot the guy's name. It might have been Mike Pelissero or somebody else going on NFL Network and saying, this is just going to be the Packers saying to the Jets, okay, let's just come up with a fair compensation so we could all move on and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but from what I would guess, I think there's a deal done already. I think he went over there, or they went over there to talk to him. This is now just a matter of fact of, do you want to be a Jet or not? We need to give him a sales pitch. But I don't think that, at least the framework is done of this deal. I don't think they would do all this and then they go to the Packers and they're like, you're way off. We can't make a deal.
The only thing that's
Packers
confusing,
kind of have to make a deal.
The thing that's confusing is the money, because the Packers probably have to eat some of this money.
Yeah. That's $60 million. So
right. The Packers are going to have to pay some of this. So that's going to increase the package that they're going to get back, because they're going to be paying Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Still for next season. So that's the only thing that confuses me. And I think the Packers, it's pretty clear that they don't want him anymore. Like, they want to go and move on to Jordan Love.
I mean, it makes sense. Jordan Love, you got to pick up his 5th-year option, and he hasn't played a full game yet.
Right.
Or he hasn't started a full season yet. So,
and you know how I feel about Rodgers. He's a pain in the ass. He's been a pain in the ass for the past couple of off seasons for them, between flirting with retirement and the contract extensions.
But he wouldn't have been such a pain in the ass if they didn't draft Jordan Love. They shot themselves in the foot with that. They did. This stuff wouldn't be going on if they drafted a first-round quarterback.
Maybe not telling him, maybe not communicating with him, but what does Aaron Rodgers have to say to the general freaking man? Like, the general manager needs to prepare for life after Rodgers, and he doesn't know when that's going to be.
He didn't need to do it 3 years ago. They didn't know Rodgers was going to have an MVP season in his second year with LaFleur, and then another one after that.
Right? Didn't he have a down year that season, or like a down?
Yeah, it was
Standards a down year.
Yeah, it was like a 25 touchdown year.
Right. So, they have to prepare for life after Rodgers. Eventually he does put up 2
even at
seasons.
the time, the pick was surprising. And then, like you said, on top of it, they didn't even tell Rodgers. So
that's where they screwed up. If they went to Aaron and said, we don't know how much longer you're going to be doing this for. We need to, prepare ourselves for the future. We really like this kid. If he's there, we're going to take him. And if they did that and Rodgers still did all this, he's in the wrong. But anyway, let's move off a little bit. Can I kind of make fun of your team and other professional teams as well?
Yeah, sure, man. No problem.
I'm just enjoying my day on Twitter, right? And I see something that somebody liked, and it's Tyler Conklin trying to recruit Aaron Rodgers, and it got me thinking. Kind of like how pathetic it is that other men are trying to tell another guy what he should do with his life and, encourage him to come to their team. And then I'm thinking even more, if Tyler Conklin is saying yeah, you should come here, Aaron,
right.
I'd be like, I'm going to stay put. Like I'll probably just stay.
I agree.
No disrespect.
I think the social media thing is pretty stupid. Just saying, yo, why don't you come? Will Parks, sorry, are like third string safety that plays special teams is recruiting him, and it's like getting into it. Somebody tweeted something like, "Oh, this is what the Jets need to do this offseason. They need to go address safety and free agency." And he goes, "Nah, bro, we're good at safety. Don't worry about that." I'm like, what what are you talking about? We're not.
Yeah, no, he's definitely gonna come because Willie Parks was like, you should probably come, bro. Yeah.
Bro plays gunner on special teams, and he says we don't need a safety.
Robert Saleh's brother is recruiting Aaron. I saw a tweet from Robert Saleh's brother. Like, Aaron's gonna come now. Anyway,
Aaron Rodgers is gonna pick up his phone and be like, "Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm in."
Your brother is the reason why, Coach Saleh.
I'm in.
But no, I'm not even like that. Yeah, the Jets are the team right now that are obviously actively recruiting a player. But it's anybody in any sport, any team. Like it's like a little pathetic. Anyway,
it is.
I digress. You want to talk some hoops?
Let's talk hoops, man.
I know you're this diehard Knicks fan, and your Knicks are playing very, very well. Although they did have their winning streak snapped a couple of nights ago to the Hornets. Whatever. They are playing well, and I think a lot of this credit has to go to a lot of guys, but specifically Jalen Brunson here. And he hasn't even played the last couple of games, but it's just showing how important he is to this team and what he's done.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've been playing great with him, and now they've been without him, and quickly stepped up, and he's all of a sudden thrown his name as basically the favorite now to be the sixth man of the year. So he's been a huge part for them. Josh Hart is quickly becoming a fan favorite, and he's been excellent for them since they got him at the deadline.
Nice ad.
Yeah. Randall won Conference Player of the Week. Brunson won Player of the Month and for the month of February. So they're riding high right now. Mitchell Robinson has been doing very good ever since he came back from his injury, shooting very efficiently from the field, playing great defense like he always does. So the Knicks are riding high right now. Like, they did have the loss against Charlotte. They just looked gassed in that game, man. They just looked like they were...
Specifically Randall, who's played like every minute, every game.
Yeah, they were just out of gas. And it looked like Quickly was going to have a game where he kind of regressed back to the mean. He came out, went 0 for 4 from 3 to start the game. And then he actually ended up playing pretty decent in that game. But, yeah, you have to expect that they're going to drop one like that. It's hard to come out, win every night, and come off a double overtime game on the road, and then, play your sharpest basketball 2 days later.
But
the state of the Knicks right now is good. I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit, though. Like, everybody's just like, the Celtics, I understand the excitement. They're 3-0 against the Celtics this year, and if they play them in a playoff series, they would certainly give them a series at least. And I think they would have a chance to win that series. But I think they're playing their best basketball right now. We can't throw them in the conversation with teams like the Bucks. It's, the Bucks are the team to beat, and I think if the Knicks played the Bucks in a playoff series, it wouldn't go too well for the Knicks.
The Knicks, I think, at this
point... It's not a bad thing either.
No, I think they can win a playoff series.
Yeah. I think they could beat the Cavs.
Yeah, I think they could beat the Cavs in a playoff series. I don't know how much more they can do. And it's been a very impressive year, and it's like almost like nothing against them, but that's just kind of where they're at right now. Brunson has taken the load off of guys like Quickly a little bit, but specifically Randall, who we just have seen so many times over and over again, trying to do too much the past couple of years. And, 2 years ago when he was, the face of this team, the best player on the team, we noticed that, especially in that playoff series against Atlanta. But
he struggled in that series for sure.
Yeah, but we have seen Jalen Brunson just say, hey, dude, not like obviously seeing this, but he's the guy that's taking the ball up the court. He's, the leader, de facto leader of this team. And that helps Randall big time. It lets Randall just try and be himself. And he's a great scorer when he's like that.
He organizes that offense. And how long have we been saying the Knicks need a point guard? Was it been a decade? they've been needing a point guard forever. So it's good to see. And the Knicks, like I said, it's not a bad thing that I don't think they could beat the Bucks. Like, this was a team that missed the playoffs last year that we were thinking was, maybe they'll get in the play-in this year. The best case scenario to be an 8 or a 7 seed, something like that.
Right.
We're talking about 4 seed right now. So certainly a great year, a step in the right direction. And this isn't some team where, okay, we had a nice year, but this guy's coming off the books and we don't have draft picks. And how are we going to pay this guy? But they got their 2 stars locked up for multiple years. They got
not on max deals.
They got a lot of draft picks coming up. They still have flexibility in free agency. So the only question mark, well, not the only question mark. I mean, they're not sitting that pretty, but one of the biggest question marks is we know how fair weather the fans are with Tom Thibodeau. And I don't know how the front office views him. They could have fired him after last season. They held on to him. It seems to be paying off. They're having a great year. Tom Thibodeau's whole career has been speculated to not be able to coach superstars and, take these bad teams and turn them scrappy and make them good. But can he coach an elite team? I think we get a little overboard with narratives like that, but that is something that needs to be considered.
Do they have to be elite superstar level team to compete? I mean, it's not like you're dealing with super teams anymore.
Right.
If they're able to add another player, I don't know, I can't think of a player off the top of my head, but not a superstar, but, close to a star, kind of like a Randall Brunson type guy.
Right.
Can he coach that kind of team? Almost similar to this one.
Yeah, it seems to be working. He's got a lot of great players right now, and it seems to be working. So I think that that's something that doesn't need to be worried about as much as people think that it should be.
That's always been around, though, that he cannot coach a superstar, or the superstars don't like playing for him.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Could be true.
Could be. It's fun. It's a fun time.
But Julius Randle, as great as he's playing this year, and he deserves all NBA consideration and stuff like that, we're not throwing the superstar label on him yet.
No, not at all.
If he does this for another year or two, then we could start talking superstar. If he does right now, he's a top 20 player in the NBA. As it the way he's been playing the past month, he's for sure a top 20 player in the NBA. In terms of the whole season, it's close.
Right.
But we're not when we talk superstars, we're talking Doncic, Antetokounmpo, Embiid, LeBron. We're talking guys like that.
Not to go completely off topic here, but I just clicked open Facebook for a minute.
I'm glad that's what you do while we're recording.
No, because I got a notification, and it's John Boy posting the lineups for Australia, and Korea. And
is Tommy Edmond on the Korean team?
First off, that's my first question. Tommy Edmond's Korean,
I guess. And Lars Nootbaar's on Japan.
Right, I knew that. The second thing is, there's not one human being on Australia's team that I've ever heard of. So my question is, are these guys and I saw this with one of the teams, I'm blanking on who it was, but these guys are legitimately salesmen, plumbers playing baseball.
Yeah.
What's the point in even having them in? What's the point in having Australia in this? Can somebody answer that question for me?
I don't know.
Just to lose by
it was funny.
20?
I don't think it was Australia. It was another team. It might have been New Zealand.
Czech Republic or something like that.
Czech Republic, right? And they were like, "I'm a financial advisor," and it's just funny.
Don't play. Just don't feel the freaking team, please. I mean, what if they have to play? Even Venezuela's got a really good year. What if they have to play Venezuela?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
They're gonna. Yeah. I would like to see.
Christ.
I am genuinely, and we know it's baseball, and baseball is a weird game, and we see the Pirates beat the Pirates swept the Dodgers, stuff like that. But Great Britain, I cannot wait to wipe the floor with these freaking British. I want to say so many things right now. That game has got to be at least double digits. I don't know if they have a mercy rule in the.
They should for this reason.
They should.
Anyway, let's just not go down that path.
Who from England is going to be pumping 95? And 95 isn't even fast anymore. But who? They're going to be.
I need to see the roster. I need to look up the Great Britain projected
Yeah.
roster.
Yeah.
A lineup. But anyway, let's talk more on the basketball side here of things. Great Britain national baseball team. Let's look at the roster quick.
Is there one name that is even somewhat recognizable?
I'm on the pitchers right now. No. There's not one person
Where
that
do they
is
play? Like, is there like a what do they do? Like a Sunday league in England? Like, there's no.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think there's a professional baseball league, is there? They
No.
don't give a crap.
Oh, Trace Thompson is on the team.
Oh, never mind.
Why is Trace Thompson on this team?
I don't know, man. Matt Harvey's on Italy.
That makes sense.
What
Matt
the hell?
Harvey's...
Matt Harvey is on Team Italy.
Yeah, you didn't know Matt Harvey was Italian?
Why? Do they let him do coke before the game? Is that why?
Okay. Let's move on to John Morant.
Speaking of crimes,
yes. John Morant, as we know by now, flashed a gun on his Instagram Live over the weekend at a strip club. Some night for Ja. The NBA is investigating this because if he had a firearm on the team plane, it's an automatic 50-game suspension.
Yeah.
So it's a very serious matter. And just about Ja Morant. I mean, we've heard all these stories now about him, just not doing great things, off the court and, being in trouble. And it's just, and you see, like I saw Jalen Rose. That's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I forgot Jalen Rose's name, but you saw him, explain how he went through, troubles early in his career and he was getting in trouble. And, he said, you got to fix yourself because it can get really dangerous. And he's right. This could end up terrible for Ja if he doesn't, set himself straight.
It's embarrassing. I mean, he's a guy that comes from a good family and he's been drafted a very high draft pick and he's became a superstar in this league and he's got shoe deals and he's got all these great things going on. And it's kind of become the Grizzlies' whole MO is they're just like, they're annoying. They're really, Dylan Brooks is a clown. John Morant now is a clown. I mean, he's out here supposed to be a role model and you're flashing your gun on your Instagram Live. It's just really stupid. And, he realizes it now. I mean, I know he stepped away from the team and I'm sure he's talking to people in his inner circle and they're working it out and whatnot. But this guy's supposed to be the future of the NBA. You look at him. I'm not going to count Giannis because he's been around for almost, he's been around since 2014. But you look at him, Jason Tatum, Luka, those are the guys that are the future of this league. And what kind of example is he trying to set right now? So it's just really stupid. And the Grizzlies, I'm so tired of them. They're a team. They have not done jack, what. They have been successful in the regular season. They've been embarrassed in the playoffs. They talk all this smack, and for what? Yeah. I'm good in the West. Yeah, are you good in the West now? You're not even playing. KD's in the West now. I don't know if you heard about that. And the Mavs are doing pretty good. Nicole, I didn't even mention the Nuggets, who are probably going to have a 3-time MVP now in Nikola Jokic.
Best record in the league. Second best record in the league. Yep.
The Kings. A lot of good teams in the West, actually.
No, he's good. He's good in the West.
He's good in the West, though.
He's good over there. I'm looking at his numbers right now. He's an unbelievable player.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I mean, unbelievable player. So hopefully he figures that out, for, himself and, selfishly as fans, to be able to watch him for the next, decade plus to come.
Right.
We'll talk a little Nikola Jokic here, actually, when we bring up what went down on First Take the other day with Kendrick, Perkins, and JJ Redick.
Yep.
I'm not the biggest fan of JJ Redick. Definitely not a fan of Kendrick Perkins. JJ Redick is 100% correct with, the argument in which they were having, which Kendrick Perkins basically said that there's a reason why Nikola Jokic has won back-to-back MVPs, and it's not because he was the best player in the league.
Yeah.
It was because the voters are all white guys, and they're voting for the white guy from Europe, which is just bogus because Jokic has deserved the MVP twice, and he deserves it probably, I have to look, probably like you said, 3-time MVP, 3 straight MVPs. But JJ Redick called him out on First Take and was 100% correct.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, that show, it's been a joke for a while now, First Take. I disagree. I love JJ Redick. I think the fact that a guy that played in this league is able to bring up these just facts. He just comes at you with facts, and he talks about win shares, and he's using all these statistics that you wouldn't normally hear from an ESPN analyst, because they just like to, talk like you're the guy sitting at the bar talking about sports, and that's fine, but he's very insightful, and it's refreshing to see that a guy who played this game looks at these numbers and appreciates these numbers. Now, going to what happened on First Take, what Kendrick Perkins said, yeah. I mean, it's been debunked. It's not true, everything he said. First of all, he was denying that he said it, and then all of a sudden he was saying, I said the facts, and they weren't facts, so he's a joke. I don't know how he's still even on the show. I know he's not on full time, but I don't even know how he appears on the show. But it's stupid. They're not 80% of the voters aren't white. That came out. They came out with the sheet of all the votes. I saw you mentioned Jalen Rose. He voted for Jokic. I was reading all the guys that people voted for.
Yeah, ESPN,
embarrassing, man.
Molly Kieram had to come out today and say that this was not true. Like, ESPN has to, save themselves. If you say something that's not true, you need to, and it, you have to go and correct yourself.
Right.
They have to correct themselves. And they did it today, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
For what Perkins said.
What a week it is for these sports shows. You see what Colin Cowherd? He hit us with 2 like, holy crap, you're an idiot moments today.
What happened?
So
I saw him bad-mouthing Daniel Jones.
So he came out with his top 8 NFC quarterbacks.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible.
Yeah, Matt Stafford is number 1.
Yeah.
I just looked up Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, that's good. I think I remember it. Let me see if I can guess it. Stafford 1, Hurts 2, Goff 3.
Yep.
Was Carr 4?
No.
Cousins?
No.
Who was 4?
It was Murray.
Murray 4. Dak 5, Carr 6, Cousins 7, Geno 8.
Yeah. And all right, you want to do this on the fly? Let's okay. This is what I would do. I put Hurts 1.
Yeah, agreed. Hurts 1.
2's tough. 2. If we're just weighing like last year, I'm gonna put Dak 2 still. I'm still gonna put Dak. I know he had a bad year, but I'm gonna put Dak 2. I'm
gonna go Goff 2, Dak 3.
I'm holding off on Stafford because I just don't know how healthy he is.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I was thinking about Goff. I'm gonna put Goff 3. I'm gonna leave Stafford out just because I don't know what to expect from him, and I don't know if he could still throw. I'll put, so now I got Hurts, Prescott, Goff. I'll go Cousins, Geno, Derek Carr, Kyler Murray. And Geno, we'll see how he, I could see Carr jumping in front of Geno.
Yeah, and I'm putting Jones ahead of Murray, based off of last
Daniel
season.
Jones.
Yeah,
I mean,
based off of last season,
bad. But I could see Kyler, coming back up. But you want to talk about poverty organizations?
Yeah.
The Arizona Cardinals are like brutal.
The Players Association, they gave grades to the teams, the facilities, how they treat their families, training staffs, and they're the only team in the league that makes their players pay for food. It's unreal how bad they are. And, they got the scrap heap of head coaches and Jonathan Gannon. Yeah. Nobody wanted to coach there. They are legitimately a team that if I was a fan of them or like worked for them or played, it's just going to be like the next decade is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to look forward to in that organization. Nothing.
Let me ask you a question going back to the NBA. Who do you think's going to come out of the West? Do you think it's the Suns to take now, or what do you think? Because it's crazy how close it is.
I
You got
know.
the Pelicans and the Mavs a game and a half apart, but the Pelicans are the 10 seed and the Mavs are the 5.
I know. And it wouldn't shock me if they did, the Suns. I'm just going to say, I'm going to go casually and just say Denver. I'm going to take them. Like they finally break through and get there.
Right.
In his, third MVP season, but they've been up there for a very long time now.
Well,
I'm gonna say Denver gets it.
They're virtually like unbeatable at home. They're 30-4 at home.
Jesus
Christ. Home court advantage throughout the playoffs will certainly play well for them.
And then who comes out of the East?
And now they got Jamal Murray in it back and everything. I think it's gonna be the Bucks. I know it's kind of chalk, they're the 1 seed, but I think it's gonna be the Bucks.
I said last year that Philadelphia was going to do it after they traded for Harden, and obviously didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Harden is Embiid's unbelievable, and he's top 3, probably top 2 in MVP behind Jokic. With the way that he is playing, he just looks like a different guy this year, like a motivated guy that really wants to win. He looks good. He doesn't look fat right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Philly. I know.
Wow.
I don't want to say it. I know they're like cursed. I think they get. I think it's Philly and Denver.
Yeah. I think the Celtics, they're great, but I think that they're lacking that point guard, man. I just think they need a better facilitator. Marcus Smart is not the guy to, he doesn't run their offense.
Right. How many threes did he miss against the Knicks? Jesus Christ.
Man. He's so annoying. I was talking to a Celtics fan, and I was like, I don't know about you. I know he's on your team, but I hate Marcus Smart. And he was like, yeah, me too, honestly. He's a pain in the ass. He's like, I'm gone. And he's a great defender. He's excellent. He can defend any position he wants. But what a little, pesty little annoying.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's like Tom Brady in Major League Baseball for me. Anyway, you see Grant Williams the other day. You see Grant Williams the other day shooting those free throws.
That's another guy that is just gets annoying, crucified every day. Grant Williams.
He's annoying. He looks like he's annoying.
That was hilarious.
And he's like, I'm gonna make both of them, and he misses both of them. Brutal. Anyway, I'm pretty pumped for baseball season. I know we're coming to the end here.
I'm pumped for this World Baseball Classic now, too.
I don't give a shit. I know who's going to win. And it ain't DR, I'll tell you that. They ain't not winning. Although, how much fun did they look like they were having against the Braves today?
Yeah, true. Robbie Cano went deep.
The boy, Robbie.
The 2 40-year-olds hit bombs today.
I know. Nelson Cruz is the general manager of Team Puerto Rico?
I guess so. What does that even mean?
I have no clue.
Wait, of the DR.
Yeah, I say Puerto Rico. Sorry, I mix them up sometimes. Same colors and everything.
I was just there in the DR, and I was talking with the locals, like, "Yo, what do you think about the team?"
Yeah,
we were talking ball.
What's to think about the team? They have 6 MVP candidates.
Yeah.
What are they going to say? We're not good. I mean,
Gary Sanchez is our catcher.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Anyway. It's gonna do it here, I think. Episode 90. It's a big milestone. 90. We're 10 away.
We're just there. I think did we mess up? When's the 2-year anniversary? It might be like right now.
Did we miss the 2-year anniversary?
That's kind of bad if we did.
That would be funny. We really took a nice break. We really were relaxing for a little bit. Although it wasn't really relaxing.
It's about to ramp back up, man. We got a lot of stuff to do. We got
I know.
We're going to continue our top 10 per positions. We're going to have preseason predictions for the MLB.
I can't wait.
NBA playoffs are starting. We're talking, NFL drafts coming up. We got a lot of stuff that's about to start ramping up here.
Hockey playoffs, big time.
Oh yeah, this is a hockey show. That's the last thing we'll talk about. When Michael K came on First Take, they were like way over that. Like are you that toned up? Your company
that was really bad.
Your company
really
literally
bad.
airs hockey games, and you're like, the Rangers don't count. Like, are you that tone deaf?
It was terrible. And then Stephen A. Smith puts out that pathetic video at the end, like toward the end of the day. I think it was like 7:00 at night.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just getting home, and see all you brothers, getting all mad about my, saying about hockey, and he's trying to walk back everything. Like, yeah, please make a video more obvious that your bosses told you to put out.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, that was terrible.
March 30th, we're good. We didn't mess up.
Yeah.
Well, my pinstripe passed for April 1st against the Giants, so now I'm going to April 1st and 2nd.
Very nice.
Ready to go.
Pumped up. That's a really nice opening matchup. That's a cool matchup, Yankees Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing everything like my willpower. It's holding me back from not buying tickets to go to Miami and go watch them. But like, I don't want to go. Like, it's a terrible stadium.
Sucks. You're right.
Like, why do I want to go?
Go to Atlanta, man. The Atlanta's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I'm going to Atlanta at some point this year, so that'll be fun. But yeah, baseball right around the corner. We're really pumped up. So we're gonna have all that. Look out for this episode. Look out for our top 10 outfielders.
Mm-hmm.
Just outfielders.
Just outfielders. It's gonna be. This is gonna be really fun because you got MVPs on MVPs on this list, so
it's gonna be tough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's gonna do it for episode 90. We'll talk to you guys next time.